On the eve of her wedding, Clara receives a chilling text. "Are you sure you know who he really is?" Moments later, she finds a photo of Ethan, her soon-to-be husband, smiling beside her ex. Her heart stops. What secret has Ethan been hidden? And why is it surfacing now? Clara Reynolds woke to a calm morning, the soft light touching her face as she smiled without pain for the first time in years. Life was quiet now, no noise, no fear, no arguments. Her phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. "Good morning, my sunshine. Don't forget your breakfast today." She read it again and again, still amazed by the feeling of being cared for without reason. Ethan had come into her life 2 months after her divorce, gentle and respectful, never trying to change her, only listening and holding her when her heart grew heavy. She often told him she never thought she'd feel peace again, and he always replied that she deserved more than peace, she deserved joy. His words stayed with her like a small, unending light. Her mother, Helen, often told her that happiness had never left, it was only forgotten. Clara worked from home, creating designs and teaching online, while Ethan encouraged her to slow down and enjoy life beyond deadlines. His warmth reminded her of a love that was kind, not demanding. Yet sometimes, seeing her old wedding ring, she shed quiet tears, not for Ryan, but for the woman who once tried too hard to be loved. When Ethan saw her looking at the ring, he told her not to let her past define her, but to let it remind her how strong she was. Slowly, she learned to believe that. Weekends were filled with laughter, failed pancakes, and shy smiles. At 4 to 5, she sometimes felt 20 again. Ethan's simple care, his attention, his calm voice, healed parts of her she didn't know were still broken. One evening, he told her she wasn't his second choice but his right choice. Her eyes filled with tears as she whispered that she never thought she'd hear words like that again, and he smiled, saying she'd hear them every day from now on. That night, Clara thanked life for peace, for love after the storm, and for the strength to begin again. Years earlier, Ryan had entered her life with charm and confidence, making her believe she'd found forever. In the early days, he was attentive, affectionate, and grateful. But as time passed, the warmth faded. His thank yous turned to silence, his eyes to distance. She supported him through his business struggles, managed the home, and kept her hope alive even as love slipped away. The day she discovered his messages with another woman, her heart shattered quietly. When confronted, he dismissed her pain with cold defensiveness. She realized then that love cannot save someone who has already left. Their marriage ended in silence and exhaustion. Signing the divorce papers felt like signing away years of herself. At night, alone in an empty house, she whispered that she no longer wanted love, only peace. Moving to a small home near the city, she began the slow process of rebuilding. Her mother reminded her that survival was strength, not weakness. Clara worked again, taught design, and found comfort in small joys: coffee, laughter, and quiet evenings. Healing was not quick, but it was real. She forgave Ryan, not for him, but for herself. When she finally attended a freelance meeting months later, she met Ethan Cole, a soft-spoken man who admired her work and her way of turning emotion into art. Their first conversation was about creativity, but something in his kindness stayed with her. Over time, their talks deepened. He never rushed her, never demanded. He simply listened. His words, gentle and full of understanding, made her believe in love again. Through him, she learned that love could be peaceful, not painful. Ethan encouraged her to open an online design school and reminded her that she was already stronger than she realized. His presence brought laughter back to her home. Her mother adored him, calling him a good man who brought light into their lives. Clara still feared loss, but Ethan promised her she wouldn't lose him because he hadn't come to leave. When he told her he loved her, it wasn't grand, it was quiet, sincere, and real. For the first time, her tears came from joy. Their days filled with small happinesses, shared meals, gentle talks, quiet mornings. She no longer needed someone to complete her. She was whole already, and Ethan was the piece that complemented her strength. Then, one evening, the doorbell rang and there stood Ryan. Older, regretful, and broken, he begged for another chance. Clara listened calmly, no longer angry, just sad. She told him he had lost more than his business, he had lost trust. When Ethan arrived, he simply took her hand, and Ryan understood he had truly lost her. She chose peace, not pain. After that day, Clara's life became beautifully still. She forgave her past completely and, in doing so, found freedom. When Ethan proposed again, she said yes, not out of fear or longing, but out of love and certainty. Their wedding was small, filled with laughter and quiet joy. Helen told her, this time, it's love without fear, and Clara agreed it was love that healed. Years later, Clara's design school thrived, helping women rebuild their confidence through art. She often told her students that love finds you when you stop searching and start healing. Sitting on the porch with Ethan, she once asked if he ever thought about the past. He smiled and said he preferred the present because it was more beautiful. Clara's heart swelled with peace. She had once been broken, but now she was whole, proof that endings can become beginnings. Her life had come full circle, from heartbreak to love reborn, from tears to gratitude. She wrote in her diary that night, "Some stories don't end with loss, they begin after it. I found love not when I was perfect, but when I was real." Looking at Ethan sleeping peacefully beside her, she whispered a thank you to life, to love, and to herself for choosing to begin again.